In one of the first videos in this series, we mentioned how our different departmental libraries provide access to information resources focused on particular scholarly disciplines. Many of these resources are research literature databases such as PubMed, which we've used both as an example of database search strategies in general and as an essential tool for discovering evidence in any health sciences related question. There are tens of thousands of scholarly journals just within health sciences, broadly defined. Journals may focus on health topics at the macro, global, regional, or community level, or at the microcellular level. They may focus on a very specific disease condition, or on disease of body systems more generally in humans and animals. There are journals on the humanistic, ethical, and philosophical aspects of health and medicine, and on statistical methods, research methodology, health systems administration, and informatics. Library databases help us make sense of this overwhelming amount of research literature. There's no one database that collects everything from every source and categorizes every article with the sort of meaningful subject headings and classifications that allow for precise and efficient discovery. As we've talked about in the presentation on subject headings, disciplines vary in the depth and specificity of their interest in topics and areas that are meaningful to the scholars and researchers who work in their field. For this reason, as well as the commercial reasons driven by publishers, health sciences research gets channeled into many different databases. Different databases collect on narrower topics, but with greater depth and a larger representation of articles from many more journals in a particular field. For instance, while PubMed does an okay job of collecting many of the most significant journals in nursing, there are only about 200 nursing-focused journals indexed in PubMed. Compare this to the nursing database CINAHL, which includes content from more than 1,000 nursing-related journals, including most of all that are indexed in PubMed. While the content focus may vary, what all databases have in common is their careful selection and verification that the sources they're taking articles from are credible and well regarded. Journals in databases are usually selected after a rigorous approval process, must have an established publication history, and are often seen as the most significant or influential journals in their discipline. It's worth mentioning that this obviously excludes significant sources of knowledge. Articles in most established health sciences databases are predominantly written in English, and journals from Africa and Central South America are underrepresented. There are databases and journal indexes such as the Directory of Open Access Journals, African Journals Online, and Latin American and Caribbean health sciences literature, which it is important to be aware of. Other databases may include many more sources, such as Embase, or sources from a broader variety of disciplines, as you will find in the Scopus database. For these reasons, evidence on many research topics, particularly those with an interdisciplinary component, may be dispersed between different databases, depending on which journal it was published in and which discipline the authors work in. To get a truly comprehensive look at all of the scholarship in a particular research area, it can be vital to think about identifying all of the relevant databases that might include the sources you need and searching each one of these separately. In other videos in this collection, we'll talk about some of the significant databases and offer some tips on how to navigate their content and search effectively. The principles are the same, but different databases have different syntaxes and subject headings, which it can be helpful to know. We'll also talk about how once you've collected evidence from multiple databases, you can put all the pieces together and start to make sense of everything.